To complete this logo design, you'll learn about working with the stroke of an object. Then you'll explore adding and editing dashes to lines, and finally add arrowheads to these paths. If you'd like to follow along, you can open this file from the practice files for this tutorial. The first change you'll make is to the appearance of the stroke or border on this shape. With the selection tool selected in the Tools panel, click to select this blue circle. Notice the weight or size of the stroke in the Properties panel to the right of the document. It's 15. To change the stroke weight, you can click the arrows to the left of 15, choose a value from the menu, or even type a value in. To make the stroke smaller, change the weight to 13 by clicking the down arrow a few times. In addition to the stroke weight, you can also change other appearance properties for strokes. In the Properties panel, click the word Stroke to show the Stroke panel. There are a lot of options for strokes in here, like aligning the stroke to a path, adding a dash to it, adding arrowheads, and a whole lot more. To align the stroke in a different way on the path, click Align Stroke to Outside. Aligning the stroke to the outside of a path will place the stroke outside of the shape, giving you more room inside the shape, maybe so you can add text inside the shape, for instance. Click Align to center the stroke on the edge of the circle again. To apply a dash to selected artwork, select Dashed Line. You can create different types of dashes, and dashes you create form a pattern that repeats along a path. For instance, change the dash to 7, then click in the gap field to the right of that. Illustrator applies a dash that's 7 points in length, then adds a gap of 7 points, then repeats that along the length of the path. Click in the gap, type 9, then click in the next field to see the change in the shape out there. Now a 7-point dash is followed by a 9-point gap, and that pattern is repeated on your shape. Now to make the stroke smaller, change the stroke weight to 1. Press Escape to hide this panel. To remove the fill from this shape, click the fill color in the Properties panel, make sure that the Swatches option is selected up top, and then choose None. Now you can also add arrowheads to your artwork. Next you'll add arrowheads to the start and end of both of these lines. So to select them both, with the selection tool selected, click one of the lines in the middle, then shift-click the other to select both. To add arrowheads, click the word Stroke in the Properties panel on the right so you can see that stroke panel again. Now you can add an arrowhead to the start of the path, or the end of a path, or both. Click the arrowhead menu on the left to add an arrowhead to the start of the path, or where you started drawing the path. You can see there are a lot to choose from. For this, choose Arrow 14. By default, the arrowhead is scaled at 100% of the stroke weight. Change the stroke weight to 3, and you'll see that the arrowhead gets bigger as well, relative to the stroke weight. If you want the arrowhead to be smaller or bigger than it is, you can change the scale below each here. Now you'll add an arrowhead to the end of both of these lines. So click the arrowhead menu on the right and choose Arrow 18. If the arrowheads are on the wrong end of the path, you can click this button to swap them. Make sure they look like this before you continue. Press Escape to hide the stroke panel, and also click in a blank area of the document so you can deselect all of the artwork. Now that you know more about changing the appearance of strokes, you can play with using different types of strokes in your artwork. For instance, you could create a stitching effect with a dashed line, or even add arrowheads to an infographic or a diagram.